There you go.
Yeah, it's on.
All right. In this session, we're going to be talking about writing. And with writing, we teach figurative language. Figurative language gives your writing personality, humor, expresses thoughts. So it's just adding flavor to your writing in order to not make it so bland. So these are the 9 types that we teach: personification, onomatopoeia, and see, kids like onomatopoeia because I slam the door real hard and they be scared. I go boom, and by the end of the year they catch on onomatopoeia. You know, or I just go to the back of them and it gets to the point where they just watching me to see if I'm gonna slap something or hit something. Now, we have alliteration, simile, adages, metaphor, idiom, hyperbole, and proverbs. The first one is personification. This is describing human qualities in something that is not a person. So, a lot of times, this is how we get personification across. Because the kids always come up to you and say, Mr. Sim, my computer died. And I always ask, well, when's the funeral? Then they start thinking personification. You know, not making a statement. So, another one might be like, the sun massaged my head. Instead of saying it's hot outside, the sun massaged my head. So, these are elements that we use. This one, the tree swung its arms in the wind. Here will be some examples, like after a hard day of work, the shovel cried itself to sleep. So, instead of saying I'm tired, the shovel's tired. These would be some more examples: lightning danced across the sky, the wind howled in the night. It's my favorite, onomatopoeia, when a word sounds like it is describing, like bang, pow, bam, bang. And so again, this is the one I like. And a lot of times when I slam the door, you see teachers come running out the room thinking something's wrong, but I'm just teaching the onomatopoeia.
It goes across the classroom. Other classes.
So like for this one, it says read each sentence in circles, onomatopoeic word. Also explain what makes this noise. During a dangerous mission on the foreign planets, spaceman Spiff zapped the alien with his ray gun. So the onomatopoeic word would be spiff and zapped. And so we would ask him what made the noise. The big gun. These would be some more examples of onomatopoeia: arf, bar, bark, bow wow, buzz, cackle, cow, chatter. And a lot of times we tell the students when they are writing, it's good to start off with one of these examples to capture your reader's attention, because we tell them, like, you go to the movies, within the first 2 or 3 minutes, you're gonna know if you're gonna stay there and watch the movie, or if you're at home, you're gonna turn the channel. And so you gotta hurry up and capture your reader's attention. Alliteration, this is the repetition of the same sound at the beginning of words in a line of poetry or in a sentence. So we just tell them to make it easy. This is just like a tongue twister. Peter Piper picked a pepper, peppers. And so a lot of times we go through there and we just give them a letter and just see if they can come up with their own. But again, this is adding spice to your writing. Like this one is ghosts glide across the golden grass, gathering goblins, grabbing grasshoppers. They giggle as they glide above the ground. And so again, we give them examples. There will be some more examples. Simile. This is where you're comparing two things using the word like or as to compare nouns that are not alike. For instance, as sick as a dog. Or, you know, we're talking about Mr. Sim is slow. Well, don't say Mr. Sim is slow. How can we make that better? Mr. Sim is slow as time when I first get to school. You know? So, this is adding spice to the writing, is making the writing come alive. As playful as a kid. The clock struck midnight and the sky was black as ink. Again, we're just adding to the writing. because again, we want their writings to come alive, and these little tricks will help. Let me go back. As American as apple pie, big as an elephant. Boring as watching paint dry. Now, this one here, the kids get a kick out of this because when they first see it, they think it is pronounced hyperbole or hyperbole. And sometimes I had to catch myself because I'm trying not to say it, but it's just hyperbole. And so a lot of times, hyperbole, it's hyperbole. So with hyperbole, it's just an exaggeration that is not meant to be taken seriously. So I tell them it's a big old lie. Because for us, we had to wait forever. So I would tell them, I'm at McDonald's and I say I had to wait forever. Am I really waiting forever? They're like, no. I said, that's what hyperbole is. See, I almost said hyperbole did. But again, this is a way to make your writing come alive. When I'm with you, I can't breathe. What sound does your heart make?
I played my hyperbole song.
Oh, okay.
Booed up.
That would come down. Sorry. You added it up. All right. So, cartoon, Timmy, I'm so hungry I can eat a horse. And so this lets the kids know that no one's going to be able to sit down in one set and eat a horse. But this explains how hungry that they are. She's as thin as a toothpick. Her brain is the size of a pea. You skinny enough to jump through a keyhole. Metaphor. This is comparing two nouns that are not alike. The difference between a metaphor and a simile is going to compare things using like or as, where a metaphor is not. So that is the difference between them. For instance, if you look at the bottom, my mom is a teddy bear. Or if we would say this was a simile, we could say my mom is sweet as a teddy bear. So adding as changes it from a metaphor to a simile. Here would be some examples. Their mom was the rock of the family. The ship was a tiger roaring through the water. And we asked them, well, what does this mean? And a lot of times after they discuss with the partners, they can kind of figure it out what they mean. Let's see. Snow is white as a blanket. The hospital was a refrigerator. The classroom was a zoo. And then we have idioms. These are phrases that mean more than their words put together. If you take them word for word, they might not make much sense. For instance, okay, now let's let the cat out the bag. Or pushing the envelope. You got my favorite one up there. He coughed up a storm. You know, get into the swing of things, save your breath. She has a frog in her throat, fighting tooth and nail. She's like a bird, raining cats and dogs. And this is when we really say, now, a lot of times y'all go to the mall, to the store, and your parents tell you, what do you think I made of money? This is the idiom. This is the one. Boy, she worked her butt off. When we show this one, all that fun, they just fall off the chairs laughing. You know, she worked her butt off. They see, is Mrs. Sims, is that really her butt on the ground? Yeah, her butt is on the ground. But they get it because they understand that she was working really hard. Instead of she worked real hard, she worked her butt off. And so when they're writing in, we usually give them a checklist and tell them that in your writing you should have at least 3 to 4 examples of figurative language in your writing, which is going to help it come alive. Goose is cooked. Cross your fingers for good luck, fell on deaf ears. Proverbs and adages, stating a general truth or piece of advice. All good things must come to an end, better late than never. And we have the meaning that the bottom of fun and spirits will eventually end. It is better to do something late than to not do it at all. So we have actions speak louder than the words, meanings on one side. And we have some more examples.
You want me to play it for them real quick? So y'all can hear all the figurative language? Or you want me to play Buddha?
Well, this would conclude figurative language, but as you can see what we went through, by adding these examples into your writing, it makes your writing come alive. Because I tell the kids, you know, all of us, we have about 35, 40 kids, and we have to read their papers, and if it's boring, it's gonna put me to sleep. So I say, I need for you to add this into your writing so that I stay awake. You know, because you think 35, 40, that's a long time. And usually it's about, you know, page and a half. I'll fall asleep over that, I tell you. All right, so next.
Okay, I am up. I am Miss Whitehead, and the next part to writing is our kids' vocabulary and their spelling. So they have spelling homework that they have each week. So make sure you check with them because they have, it was slow at first, but we got it's weekly now, so they have new words every week because we need to build up their vocabulary. And I'm not going into all the different studies to bore you because I just read a book about this, so I'll get excited about this. But anyway, vocabulary is a must because without that vocabulary, their writing is going to suffer. Now, we have our spelling. Now, sometimes we have a game we play in class called roller. Is that called roller word?
Vocabulary.
Yeah, roller word vocabulary. And they have this dice, and they have different things that they could do with it, so you can see. And it is. I have a lot of documents. You see the roller word?
You just
I
paid.
think you just passed it up on the far left.
Here we go. The words will change, but the directions won't. Like, if they roll a 1, they have to give the exact definition. 2, write a 7-up sentence. And we always say 7 up, because if you don't know what 7 up means, they have to have 7 words or more in their sentence, because we want their sentence to be stronger instead of, it was fun, it was good, I like it.
I know the definition of speech. We get that.
Yeah, you would be surprised, because if we just tell them write a sentence, they would give us the bare minimum, so we have to say 7 up. Number 3, give 1 word synonym, give 1 word antonym. Number 5, draw a picture to show the words
We tend to
meaning.
get a lot of number 5s.
Yeah, because sometimes we have to tell them, now if I have a whole paper with just the same number, really? Come on now. So they like this game, and we change the list. Sometimes it may be spelling words, sometimes it may just be vocabulary words, because we want their vocabulary to be stronger. And the way that you could do that, you can kind of already see where they are with their vocabulary, because by the time they leave 1st grade, they should already have like almost 25,000 words in their vocabulary. But that's the majority, but a lot of our kids don't. So we gotta build up their vocabulary. So at home, you don't have to break out a dictionary or anything, because you know they're gonna look at you like, no. Play catchphrase with them, or heads up, and you will be surprised how much they already know. So it's kind of like, the less they know, that means like, okay, I need to work on this with you, because what I thought you might have known, you don't. So would y'all like to play a little game?
Sure.
Okay. I'm not good at this. It takes me a while to be like, okay, wait a minute, now what is that clue? So I'm gonna listen to one of y'all. be the person. Who wants to be the guinea pig? Anybody? Miss Roberts, there you go. Okay, Miss Roberts,
What I,
you're gonna stand up there and I'm gonna give you a word and y'all have to act it out. Or give her, not act it out, give her clues. So we're gonna see how well you know your vocabulary.
like I don't face the board?
No. All right, so let me think of a word that she may know but not too easy. So let's see if y'all can give her some clues. Y'all ready? Now, and you can download it, like Heads Up on your phone. And if you never played, all you have to do is like really tilt your phone. And
I love
Yeah.
taboo. Taboo's a good one too for their vocabulary, because they can't say that word, so they have to think of other ones
ooh,
that come up. Taboo is great.
and I'm gonna make it bigger, don't worry. If I can spell it. That's spelled right. Yep. But we're already talking about spelling, and I gotta make sure if I can actually spell the word correct. Or is that word too hard? Should I make it a little bit easier?
We did it.
Okay.
I would have to do with the.
I did, I
Oh.
cheated, because I looked, because y'all said it was too, that's terrible.
Don't you?
I didn't.
Okay. That was a little bit easier.
Okay, yes.
Can we go?
Yes.
Act it
It's
out.
not the
You
football
can act it
team.
out, or you
It's
can
not
give
the football team,
words
but
that.
the spirit.
Cheerleader!
Okay. All right,
I got this going.
I'm gonna do another word. Oh.
If you can't walk.
Wheelchair?
Ah, come on.
She's going like this. I'm good at this. I can nail some taboo.
Okay, you can't do this one.
Are these wrong?
Let me do another one. I'm trying to think of a good one.
So what she's saying is you need to stump your child. And you need to win. College? I said UGA.
What's
Before
another?
the university.
Are
Are you going like this? That's Miami.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So stuff like that will,
I'm trying to
and it
stop
makes
her.
it fun. That's why the roll of word vocabulary, I've seen that it helps our kids.
I'm gonna give you one that you're not gonna get. Cause this is really getting to me now, cause I wanna give her a word that she is not gonna get. Are you looking?
No, I'm looking right
Stable or
over down.
Orange.
Okay, there's Florida.
Motel.
Not your house.
Six.
You pay money to stay there.
A hotel.
Yeah. I was trying to think of this.
It's like,
Now, I am gonna do this one this time. Okay.
Not basic.
Unique.
Amy. Extra.
Add one to it.
Not plain.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
You know what?
I read my words this week.
Oh.
Extraordinary is how I like to say it on the spelling test, so they will at least
Oh.
help out a little bit. Do you have anything else to add?
No, but I wanna get you on a word.
You know, we'll be doing this week.
Don't you look.
You gotta erase it, I saw the first part. The robot.
She don't want
Do I need to make it?
Okay.
When you
Can I
go
do
to a
this?
restaurant,
Holding a spot. Reservation. Is that holding a spot?
go ahead.
it. Just give up. She won.
I know.
I think it's us, I think that we're just so good at giving
I mean, you're good.
Y'all are
Yeah.
really, no, but
Like
y'all
the
are
clues.
good at giving clues, and it does help that I'm sure you've given them to your children, and you've met her. Maybe you're really good at taboo.
So, you know, these little vocabulary games, you know, vocabulary doesn't have to be
And you don't
boring.
even, yeah,
Yeah,
you don't
it's
realize you're doing it.
just like little things. You know, when you're at home and you can, if you don't do it, maybe during the week, y'all can actually make a game night. And don't tell me you're doing schoolwork. But what you tell me you're doing schoolwork, I think their brains kind of shuts off. And just say, let's play some games.
Although I know they all know how to create a Kahoot. They can
Mhm.
create their own Kahoot,
Yes.
have you play at home, because I'm sure
Do you
might
know
have
how to get on
multiple
Kahoot?
devices, if your children have had you do that, they could be doing that with their spelling words, they could be doing it with their figurative language, seeing if they can teach you. That
Yeah.
might need to be one of their homeworks this morning.
I know, I like that.
But maybe
If
over the
you
weekend.
don't know how to get on Kahoot, all you have to do is type in, and I don't know what I just typed.
It's Kahoot.com, and
No, I.
then you sign up yourself, it's
Yeah.
free. But then when you go to log in, it's Kahoot.it.
And it's usually, well, see, I'm already like in there, but when you type it in, it's usually like that second one, because you're not actually playing the game, you're making it, and you can sign up, I think they have parent as one of
But
the,
they do have a parent one
Yeah.
that you can do.
But
We
your
play it
kids
at home
know-
sometimes with
yeah.
Disney movies and things like
your
that.
kids know how to get on it. And even if they create one, you can go on your phone and they'll give you the code and you can see if you can pass their little test to see how much you know.
So basically, what we're saying, between the figurative language and the spelling and the vocabulary, we taught that at probably the first 3 weeks, I believe is what we did. Just to give them a basis so they would, once we got into writing, they would know exactly what we're looking for. But this year, we're doing the Lucy Calkins writing workshop. And it's actually working really well. I've seen a lot more kids that I probably would have thought would have been a little more resistant to writing. This year, they're excited about it. And the way it works is we introduce a skill or a strategy for the first 10 minutes, and we do like a little mini lesson. We get, sometimes I bring them to the carpet like we're in kindergarten again, because sometimes that helps. Sometimes we stay at our desk depending on how the day is, kind of thing. We go over things. If you look around the room, we've got the narrative anchor chart, our storyteller's voice, editing with cups, your main ideas, which goes back to, that's in our writing and that's in our reading. That's one of our standards that we're working on. Definitions, examples, things like that. And we also have, like, when you're running out of gas, what do you need to do? Things when kids get stuck. And that's a different sheet of paper that we will send home in their Wednesday folders for you. We have like the top 10 strategies to help them with their writing. So basically, they start off with a mini lesson. We use that skill in our writing, and then they go back to their desk or wherever. Sometimes we spread out, because I know I don't like to sit at my desk all day half the time, and sitting on the floor with them gets them going as well. They start writing, and we've been focusing on narrative writing, which is something we'll keep focusing on until a little bit after Thanksgiving, when we switch to informational and opinion. Then we'll move on to persuasive, I believe, is what we're going for. And then we'll end the year with memoir, writing about their life. What we did to begin with, we started with small moments. We have them jot down stuff. They can either write it down or they can write a sketch. They can draw a sketch. A lot of times, and a lot of these kids that we've been seeing, they're very artistic. Super duper love that, and that kind of gets them going with their writing. So they know if they get stuck, they can draw a sketch. So if you look through their writer's notebook, you might see doodles in the margin. That's okay. That's them getting their writing juices flowing. And we've already written one narrative that we focused on, and now we're on the second one. We should be publishing, because we gave them a deadline, because now they know, we've taught them what they need to know, the skills. So we're kind of going over it in a week, and I told them, we were like, you're editors. You have a deadline, it is due Friday, so you know what you need to do. So I know my group today, just because we were a little bit behind depending on which class, they need to finish up their draft. And they know when they write a draft that they just need to go ahead and get it out, doesn't matter how it's spelled. If you have a question about spelling, you circle it, move on. That's something we'll do when we revise and edit. And not only do they meet with the teachers, they meet with us, but they revise with each other, which is a great thing. Because a lot of times, the kids might know what they're talking about and can help them with a different strategy, which is great. Because a lot of times they will listen to them where they won't us or you. But the number one thing y'all can do to help them is to have them keep like a little notebook with them. It doesn't have to be the spiral ones like we have, it can be like the little, like itty bitty little notebooks. Just jotting down stuff over the weekend, things that they like, things that they've seen, maybe sketching or whatever. So when they come back to class, that's something they'll already have with them and just getting used to it. I saw a thing that says we teach kids how to read because we model that, but when's the last time they've ever seen us write? Just write for fun. They don't. My kids, I know my kids don't, because to be honest with you, I barely have time to read. I don't have time to write, but you have to be intentional with it. So if they see maybe you writing, taking 10 minutes to jot something down, because we've told them all, does everyone have to like your writing? No. Do I like every book that is in the library? No. No offense, Miss Andrews. But it doesn't mean someone else won't. So we've been focusing on, Terry touched on it a little bit, the 4, like onomatopoeia can be used as a great hook. That's one thing. We talked about action verbs. We talked about asking a question, which they're really good with. I feel like they learned that in 3rd grade, 2nd, 3rd,
Or fourth, I know they could.
something like that, because they're really good at the intro with a question. And then dialogue. That's something that we're working on more and more, which is great. And then they've learned now, hey, when I read a book and I see that they've already indented for a paragraph and it's just like 2 sentences, well, why did they do that? Because the person is speaking. And that's something new that they're working on. So that's where we are with Lucy Calkins, and I think we're showing a lot of progress with it. So just encourage them to jot down stuff, sketch stuff, anything like that at home. Yes, ma'am.
And one thing I wanna add too, and I work it through.
Yeah.
But, just when they're, telling you something that happened or whatever, just have them give you as many details as they can. You know, you can ask them questions, just have them give the details, because that's what we're looking for with the writing, to make sure that they're able to build off those small moments and provide as much detail as possible about it.
Because I had one student today, he was like, I thought I added really good details. Like, I had 9 paragraphs. I was like, you did, but I still needed the answer to something else. You don't want to leave your person wanting more. We tell them to tell it like a movie. You tell it bit by bit. If you were making a movie, what is that person going to see? What is that person feeling? How could you get that across? Kind of thing. So that's where they've been working, and they're really doing a nice job with it. So anything you can encourage with that, that's where the vocab comes in, it's where the figurative language comes in, all that ties in. So we're very proud of where they are. Anything else?